feeling good can be a fool's paradise. It isn't always, but it can be. So now you can shut off the movie if you want. Because that was the essential thing that when this page opens, I want you to hear over and over again. And the other essential thing, in case you're willing to just look around and also be with me and hear what I have to say, even though maybe you've watched this movie 2 or 3 times, which is probably what most people need to do, you know, weeks apart probably. But you need to watch these over and over again so that you really, because, you know, listen, let me tell you something else. It's okay to let your mind wander while you're watching this or look around on the page and so on. It's just, you know, it's just that I think, you know what I think you ought to do a lot of the time is just click on the actual picture so that YouTube opens a separate page so that you can listen to me talk while you use the hub and go through the site. You don't actually have to watch me. You know, you can just, you know, wander around on the website while you're listening to what I have to say to you. Like the other important thing that I want to start lesson 2 with, this is lesson 2, is what can you give? Like look around and think what you can give. Because see, what we're coming to now is this full circle. Remember what we talked about making the heart connection? You know, that when you're with these people and you know they're doing well, like you're listening to a cure show, let's say, and the person is curing something and symptoms are disappearing and you're feeling happy for them. You know, you're feeling love and connection for them. And that is the place you want to be. You want to stay. And the way you stay there, other than, you know, I mean, obviously you can put cure shows on an MP3 player and listen to them all day, which is a good thing to do. But the way you stay with these people is by actually reaching out to them. You know, you put a signature on your email so that everybody who ever gets an email from you, no matter who you write to, I mean, you could be writing to the repair company to fix your vacuum cleaner, and at the bottom of it, the guy sees that he can cure things, and hey, you know, like he just got the death sentence from his doctor. He's got prostate cancer, you know, and he doesn't know what to do with himself, so he's still coming into work and fixing vacuum. You know, a lot of people do that. Like they just get told, hey, you know, this is it, you know, this is your 3rd time around, you're going to die, you know, or whatever. I mean, not from, I guess when you have your prostate out, it doesn't happen that way, but okay, you get the idea though, right? I mean, you're talking to somebody who needs to hear it, and maybe they will. Most of the time they won't go down that far on your email, and they'll never see your signature unless you know, maybe if you just put it right under your name, like no space, you know, just right there so they can't miss it. But this is how you reach out. These are these automatic ways of reaching out that cause people to call you. And by the way, you can do that as a way of activism, as a way of volunteer work. You know, you can put the cure drive and how many cures we've got. We have a standard signature you should use, and then your phone number, your name, is above it, of course, and then your full name and phone, your signature's above it, your phone number's below it, so that people get, hey, you know, call me, you know, I'll talk to you about it, I'll help you out. You can, you know, share what you did with them. You know, Andrew Weil, you know who that is, Dr. Weil? Somebody who might be able to end the epidemic in Africa of HIV. Might. If somebody could reach him and let him know the cure is here, because he doesn't know that. See, he knows all about, you know, cures that are, you know, sometimes they work and sometimes they don't. It isn't what you do. It's not what you do. He's a good man, good person. And but anyway, he wrote about somebody, there was a woman who had a problem and he wanted to see her take a herb. I can't remember what it was anymore, but it helped this other woman, you know. And the funny thing was, the other woman who had helped happened to be in the waiting room of his office. And this woman was just simply not willing to take this herb. She was willing to take the medications and all the other stuff. That's what she came to him for. But she was just saying no to this thing that he thought would work. So he had this idea, and he introduced her to this other woman, and he just left them alone for a few minutes. They talked, and I'm sure you know how the story ends. So the idea is that you may feel like 2 cents about yourself and not even be willing to report your cures in the cure drive poll because you just cannot give yourself any credit for anything you have done for yourself. I mean, look, you did something for yourself, okay? You started this. You ought to give yourself some credit, but maybe you're just unwilling to, and I tell you what, that's an immune dysfunction, and the cure for it is to put your phone number underneath the cure drive, web address and how many cures we've had, and underneath that, your name, your phone number on your email, so that every time you email people, they see that you're willing to talk to them about curing things, and maybe somebody will call you. And the way to start feeling good about yourself like magic and start giving yourself credit for what you've done is get out in the street with a sign like those women and teach it. You may not make much of a difference out there, and you're probably saying, well, the little town I live in, I don't know, But I tell you what I did. I handed out bumper stickers on the highway. And you can see that on the ACT page. You can see Greg doing that. Boy, I felt great about myself. I just fell in love with myself all over again, And you probably think, well, this guy has too much of an ego already. But it isn't, It's not ego, like feeling good about what you've done. You deserve that, and you should give that to yourself. You should use me as a role model because, I do feel good about myself and what I've given to the world, And you should use me as a role model and feel good about yourself too. So that's, so this is lesson 1. And lesson 1 is about the beyond. Like, you're being trained to drag yourself, which is for some people what it is, along a thread of signals to and beyond a negative medical test. To a negative medical test and beyond. If you accept the training that I am giving you, you will get there. And the question is, the beyond is probably a lot more important than the 2. Because getting a negative medical test doesn't mean you ain't got the disease anymore, for one thing. And it also doesn't mean much else. It's pretty meaningless, actually. But it's a good thing. It's a good signal. Getting a negative medical test is a good signal. You want that. You want that negative medical test. That's something to work for, work toward. It's something to focus on, okay? And you need to focus. So it's a good thing. The beyond, this is what lesson 2 is about. In lesson 2, you're going to learn how to go beyond the negative medical test, all the way to actually cured physically, cured emotionally, and cured spiritually. Okay? And that's what it is. Most of my things I cure are spiritual at this point. I got them, I still got stuff to cure. They're mostly spiritual. So it's possible that you need the beyond to get to the negative medical test, if that makes any sense to you. In other words, you may have to do the things that you're going to be doing after you get the negative medical test to get the negative medical test. Those things may be holding the disease in place and still be there after you've removed enough of them to get a negative medical test. Making any sense here?